Hello out there in Streamland. It is me and Parker today. We're going to be doing a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons Solo, or I should say Dungeons and Dragons Solo. That you can't hear me. No, waiting for my stream to load to make sure I can hear myself. Yay, it is working. We are live. We are can be heard. So this is Parker, and he is my min pin. Yep, he's like 8 years old. What's up, man? Say hi to the stream, dude. You're looking at the wrong way. Hey, look, see? There you go. There, say hi to the stream. That's right. So, figure if people aren't watching me for D&D or Fantasy Grounds or any of that stuff, maybe they'll tune in for a cute dog. And Parker qualifies as a cute dog. Look at that. See? Look at that. Shameless animal plug right there. All right. So he's getting antsy. So we will say goodbye to Parker and we will get on with our story. All right. Maybe I've been trying to teach him to play D&D, but as of yet, he just wants to chew the dice. So if I can find a dice he doesn't like to chew, then maybe we'll get him to play. All right. So actually, I need to change my stream name too. Dadgummit. I messed that up. This is Svenzone Solo 4. So give me just one heartbeat while I go ahead and change this. Update. There we go. Svenzone Solo 4. Here we are. All right. So we are doing the solo skirmish Cult of Molgoraz. This is made to be played by one player, which is me. You can find this on the DM's Guild under Solo Skirmish. It's written by Paul Bimler and changed for use in Fantasy Grounds by Rob Toohey's team. Marmus on Rob Toohey's team did the conversion. They did a great job. This one, some of the other solo ones are more choose your own adventure type. This one is more roll on tables type, but Fantasy Grounds makes it so much simpler. Marmus and Rob Toohey did a great job, and they make it really simple. So I am playing Fion, my Hippodon, which is from it's also from a, let me see if I can find what I did with it. So it's a race that you can find on DM's Guild as well. The Slinger dude over here, his name is Tordon. Here it is, Tordor. So he's a halfling, short little guy who's good with a sling. He's the one in the picture is actually a regular sling, like David and Goliath. The one he uses is a staff sling, so it's on a staff, and you use the staff itself to help propel and gain more momentum. So it's got a bigger range, does a little bit more damage than a regular traditional sling. Whimsical creatures. That's what I was looking for. So the Hippodon is on Whimsical Creatures. She also, by Robin Nix, NYX. She also has things like a Giraffe Person and Raccoon Men and otters and pandas and polar bears. So lots of really cool anamorphic people if you are into that type of thing. My players are, I have a young lady who plays an otter person right now. Um, and we just picked up our Mastiff. So we haven't named the Mastiff yet. So if you have any ideas for what to name our Mastiff, then leave them in the comments. And when last we left our adventurers, they had traveled down. They've been approached by these monks saying, "We mess up. We read some ancient texts, and we need your help before the boss gets back." So we went to these ancient ruins. We're led there by one of the monks. Fought some demons. Went into this room and found this whole room full of orcs and hobgoblin bodies that had been some sort of ritual backfired against them. In one of the pockets of one of the hobgoblins was a note, and the note mentioned a Tarok, T-A-R-A-E-K, Tarok, who was some sort of warlord for these hobgoblins. And so we are now trekking north, following this Tarok and his entourage. He ravaged at least one village, which we came into last week. That's where we found the dog. We have, so we were in the looted village last week. We passed that point of the quest, and now we are on in the barren plains. So we will close all this out. We already have our combat tracker up and ready to go. We are on threat tracker of 2. We have 1 quest point left over because it took us 2 to get to this point. I'm almost positive that the threat tracker does not get cleared out every location. It only gets cleared out every quest. So we should still be on threat level 2. If we get to level 4 and have to move to number 5, we are defeated. If our characters die, we are defeated. But that's not going to happen because we are awesome, and we will see how this works. We're going to see how it plays out, how well we succeed. So far, we just have been waltzing through the encounters, but we'll see how this plays out. I'm sure it's just because I am such an awesome Dungeons and Dragons player, but that could change any second because we're dealing with dice and the randomness that is dice. So for when you're dealing with Fantasy Grounds, it says your inquiries into Dryhaven have led you north, out into the barren, inhospitable plains known as the Anarok. How can you possibly hope to track Torok in this featureless desert? So, we were given the opportunity to buy a guide. But because I'm cheap, I chose not to. So we will see if this was a wise life choice or not. So let's open up the link to the story template. Boink. Here it is. You go down to the bottom where it says generate. And it tells you right here, generate results by clicking the generate button below. Boom. So now this makes a brand new story entry. And because this is brand new, we're going to say take 1. Hopefully, there will not have to be a take 2. Oops, Sven, take. So in order to get past location 2, we have to have 3 quest points. Spend 3 quest points to advance. So that is our goal right now, is to get 3 quest points. So the first step is the location phase. And it says roll twice on the current location table for each character and deal with the effects. So that's already been done. Our first character is Torador. And it says, disguise kit. You found something useful. Maybe on a corpse. roll on the useful items table. So right now, Joker's chosen. Welcome. Hello. I enjoyed the stream this morning. So right now what we're doing is we are doing what's called a solo skirmish. Um, and so it's Dungeons and Dragons. We're using Fantasy Grounds to play it for the maps and our characters. Um, this is what the character sheets look like. And this is made to be played by yourself. Um, there are a couple different types of solo adventures for Dungeons and Dragons. Some of them are more choose your own adventure. Go here, turn to this page. Go here, turn to that page. This one has a little bit more crunchy, has a little bit more to it, more tables and things. But Fantasy Grounds that I'm using does all the rolling for you, so it makes it really simple. So Torador, my halfling ranger, as we've been trudging through this barren wasteland that is Anarok, never seen this type of D&D. Yeah, so it's a little. Um, I know I run four. I'm a dungeon master for 4 different campaigns throughout the week, months, and I also play Starfinder. But this one, I just want to highlight and showcase that that this type of playing can be fun, um, especially on stream. Just because if I was just playing it by myself, I just read it and keep going and make the rolls. But here I'm actually able to tell the story of what's happening. So our group is hunting down this big hobgoblin guy who's been destroying villages and just wreaking havoc. And he traveled north into this big barren desert area, and that's where we are right now. And as we're going along, we find this body uh, and on the body. I was just curious because I've been meaning to ask you if you play D&D, what brought you to my neck of the woods, uh, first-person shooting games. Oh, well, the answer to that question really has nothing to do with D&D. um, so, as an up-and-coming streamer myself, I do my best to go around, watch things like Dan Dazzle and Atomic Hero Squad and Zinlo. Um, and so as people come into their streams, I check out their streams, say hello, support them with bits every once in a while, things like that, uh, in the hopes that they'll check me out, see if my streams are something that they're interested in. So that's why I was there. I'm friends with all of them. They're really cool guys. Yeah, they are. They're lots of fun. And I'm terrible at first-person shooters. I also don't have a platform right now besides my PC. My Xbox One went the way of my daughter, so right now I don't have anything to play with. Um, I'm more of the Elder Scrolls Online or Skyrim, that type of games myself. When I do have it, or Star Wars Battlefront is my first-person shooter that I love. But I do uh, like watching them, interacting with the streamers and stuff. So, by the way, bits are never required in my stream, and all I ask is you take a seat and enjoy the content. Uh, Online is great. ESO Elder Scrolls Online is great. I agree. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed playing it while I could. Um, yeah, so that's what brought me to you this morning. And I saw that you were live, so I was just jumping around, checking out different streams, seeing what was going on. I only had a few minutes because I had stuff I had to do first, but uh, I enjoyed your interaction and I enjoyed how you did talked with the streamers. So it was cool. I look forward to watching you again. Joker's Chosen, folks. So if you're watching this later, it's all one word. Joker's Chosen. Check her out. She's enjoyable. It was pretty cool. Um, so let's get back to the story, shall we? We're in the middle of the desert. We find this dead body, and the hippo doesn't care. The halfling's more concerned. He's very concerned that it's a. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a him. Um, I assumed your gender, Joker's chosen, and I apologize. Hopefully you didn't. I didn't bother you by doing that. No disrespect intended at all. Um, so I'm sorry about that. Uh, Still a cool, very cool stream. It's okay. My fiance is Laura Locky T. Yeah, I saw there, and there's a lot of interaction there. The one that gave you a shout out. Yes, I saw that. So cool. Laura Locky T. Nice. All right, so Halfling Toreador Ranger is very concerned. What killed this creature, why he died. The Hippodon, Fion, she doesn't care. She walks up, kicks it over, takes a look at it. So these are my characters, by the way, if you want to see real quick. It's my short little guy. He's about 3 feet high. And the opposite of him is Fion. She's huge, hippopotamus, anamorphic creature. They also have a dog, a mastiff that they picked up in the last village. Don't have a name yet. If you have any ideas, let me know. What's the dex on your ranger? So Toreador's dex, I'll show you the whole party sheet here so you can see, depending on the size of your screen, you can see both of them at once. So the 18, Toreador's, he's a Ghostwise halfling, and his dex is 18. Vion's is 12. Maybe I'll leave that up for a minute so you guys can take a look at that. Hopefully you're watching this on PC, not on your phone. Or if you are watching it on your phone, you're able to zoom in on the party sheet to take out the stats if you want. Now, is it a dex build or a strength build? So my ranger is actually, it's a dex build to answer your question, because I'm going to be using, let me find it real quick. He's going to be a slinger, and here, I'll do it this way. So it's a special class that somebody wrote about. Here it is, all about the sling. Let's open up this book real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. So they Spyros Kanelopoulos made this book about a slinger. So and so I'm using this. He's a dex build. He's gonna then when you hit 3rd level as a ranger, you pick Beastmaster or Hunter or Monster, Gloomstalker. He's going to be a slinger. So right now he has a staff sling. So it's a long stick that has a sling attached to the top of it. And he uses that, and it gives him a lot more strength, um, more range, and more damage for the thing. I prefer the classic Hunter myself. Yeah. Yep. If you'd like D&D, might I recommend someone who to watch? He's a fellow DM himself. Yeah, absolutely. I'm always up for, like I said, especially if he's a streamer. Um, I'm always interested in that because my goal in this, I also do streams on how to DM using Fantasy Grounds Classic. So besides my live stream of the games themselves, so if he's, I don't know what platform he uses. Roll20 is the other really big one that's out there. But Fantasy Grounds Unity is amazing. Shadows of Arconia is a 3-hour D&D session on Fridays and offshoots on Mondays occasionally. Nice, offshots on Mondays. Excellent. So I will definitely check out Shadows of Arconia and let him know that Joker's Chosen was the one who recommended him. Very cool. He uses D&D 5e and the other DAPC guide. DA, I'm not sure what DA stands for, but yeah, I'll check him out. All right, so Dark Arts Companion Guide. Oh, nice. Okay, I know about was it the evil companion or the players, the evil player's handbook or something like that. I know there's an evil one out there. I'm not as familiar with the Dark Arts companion guide. I'll have to check that out too and see if it's. I also have a little guide that has to do with playing cursed characters. So if your character is under a curse, whether it's lycanthropy or vampire, um, a witch's curse, there's several different curses. So if you want, for people who want to have a darker themed campaign, that's in DM's Guild as well. All right, so we find this body, and on the body though is a disguise kit. So neither one of my characters really need or know how to use a disguise kit, but we can definitely sell it. So we'll go ahead and just drop that into the party sheet. Inventory. So you come here, you just take it from here, drop it into the party sheet. You can also drop it right into the character's inventory. Liking curses, that's a tough one. Yeah. Yep. The cool thing about D&D is not just a werewolf. There's lycanthropy, there's were boars, were bears, were tigers, were rats, um, jackal wares, lots of different were spider. Those are disgusting creatures. Um, I was just looking at them in my earlier stream today because I'm going to throw a bunch of were rats, including an ogre were rat. So instead of being a human and a were rat, he's an ogre. That's a were rat. Um, so they're going to be running against those much later tonight. All right, so what we're doing right now is at each location, you roll twice on the charts for each character. So my first character's roll was the disguise kit that we found. The second character's roll is the Blessing of Tyr. So let's check this out. The righteous god Tyr is aligned with your cause and bestows a blessing on you. During your next combat encounter, you can roll a d10 and add it to any attack roll. You make this choice after you have seen the result of the attack roll. Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add it as an effect here. Plus, I'm just going to say Tyr's Blessing. Add 1d10 to 1 roll. And it specifically says attack roll. 1 attack roll. Very cool. All right, so on this body we also find this holy symbol of Tyr. And so as Fionn picks up the holy symbol, being a paladin herself, these type of things shouldn't just be left laying in the middle of the dirt. So she'll return this to the temple, even though he doesn't worship Tyr herself. As she goes to pocket it, she receives this blessing. And Torador finds. All right, so let's see what this is. It says you gain Thorsten as a sidekick. So Thorsten is a crusader. All right, so as we're trudging through the middle of this desert, up ahead we see this human hunched over, eating some dried rations. Back to the wind. We talk with him for a moment and realize that he's a crusader. So we're going to throw him into the party sheet. Make him part of the faction. Sidekicks. That's cool. So I now have a sidekick. So Thornton is a challenge rating 1. He has plate mail. He has divine sense. So he can concentrate for a moment and know if there are fiends or undead. This should be 60 feet, not 30. Personally, I'm not a big fan. I don't know that this would ever come into play, except for if there was an undead or a fiend that was disguised as a human, or not, not as itself within 60 feet of you, because you can see them anyway. You have to be able to see them in order to detect them. So anyway, he can also heal. Very nice. And he has disadvantage on dex checks, of course, because he's wearing plate mail. He has a great sword and a heavy crossbow. Very nice. All right, so we now have a... Is there a picture? Boo, there's no picture. All right, so let's see. I don't know how long Thorsten, how long the sidekicks. I presume the sidekicks are just here for the location. So let's see what we have for Crusader. Picture. I like having pictures, man. You gotta look around. There's no Crusader. All right, so we'll say Paladin. They're similar. It's a sidekick. There we go. Now we have some Paladins. All right, so he's human. His token looks similar to this. So we will change the name to Thorsten. Add it to his character sheet. Boom. And I'm also going to add it to down here. There he is in all his glory. Nice. All right, and the last thing is wild horses. So you are struck with awe to see a huge herd of wild horses thundering their way across the plains. There must be at least 300 or more beasts here. Perhaps your party can get hold of a mount or two to help their passage across the plains. The horses pause in their travels at a waterhole just near where you are. Very convenient. Any character can make an animal handling check DC 15. On a success, you secure mounts and gain a quest point. All right, so it says any character. So it is singular. So that tells me that only one of us can do it. So he has plus, Torador has +3. Vione has +1. All right, so we're going to go with Torador then. You got to get 12 or higher. Here we go. Vione's going to help. So he's going to roll with advantage. All right, Torador, here we go. So he slowly, carefully walks up, pulls a old, 3-day-old carrot from his pack, tries to entice the horsey. Boom, 20. Yeah. All right, so Torador is able to get a horses for us. So that means we gain a quest point. So all in all, a rather excellent location. We got a blessing, we got a disguise kit not really using, gain a quest point because of the horsies, and we got Thorsten. Very nice. So now we do have a warg and a goblin. So the battle map for the current location and spawn the required enemies. So I opened up the battle map for this before we started, and I thought I had minimized it, but I did not, but that's okay. It's right here. Barren Plains, boom. So there is no line of sight on this because it's just barren plains. I added the mist to make it cool. And the first thing you do when you, all right, so let's go ahead and add, click on this, and there's a warg and a goblin. So first thing I do is I go to my assets and check out my tokens. I don't like having the letters, so I like this one right here. Poof, so there's our warg. And then, of course, we need a goblin. So he's mounted, but that's okay. We'll just go with our own goblins. Lots of goblin tokens, so a couple pages worth actually. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, actually 3 pages worth. Wow, lots of goblin choices here, and then hobgoblins and other stuff. So we're gonna go with this dude who looks like he's riding. There we go. All right, so what I typically do is, first of all, let's see. Okay, made a mistake there. Let's see, how do I maximize the picture. Reset zoom. No, I don't want to reset the zoom. See if I can figure this out here. Zoom to fit, zoom to fill. Sync client view. All right. Oh, there it is. There we go. All right. You don't want to click this button. So what I was trying to do was click unlock it, so I could then look at the map. Go to layers phase 40 by 40. So that's what I was looking for. So that means if it's 40 by 40, 160 squares. So we do /die 1d 160. So our group, first of all, yeah, let's see where the guy is. He's at 31. So nope, that was wrong. It's 1,600 squares. Doesn't seem right. So let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, so it's set on double squares. All right, so 20 by 20 is 400. All right, that's better. 1D 400. 8. Nice. So he's right up top. So the warg is ridden. So let's go ahead and pull up the picture so you guys can see what it is we're talking about here. Go to images. So this is exactly what we see. A goblin on a critter. All right. I'm actually going to double this because one goblin, one warg. Um, it's not really a challenge for us, especially because we have the Mastiff and we have our Sidekick. So, 2, 4, 6, 8. So he is right here on this black mark. So the warg is a large creature, all right. And we'll say the other one is within 4 squares of him, so that's the direction is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. And how close is he? 1. No, where'd he go? Didn't roll. 2. Direction 1, 2 squares over. Boom. All right, so there are our critters. Two warg and goblins. Right now we're just gonna throw the goblins up here. The way I do mounted combat is I'm just gonna throw them up here because they're on their mounts. And so they move on the turn where their mount would move. They can shoot and do everything else, but it's all done on the turn that the mount would move. So now what we do is we take this, close it. Here, let's go ahead and add it to make sure it's correct. We'll add it to the part of the story. There we go. All right, so now we close it. And you're like, oh no, they're all disappeared. Open it, add it to the combat tracker, puts them back on. We then show everybody. Okay, I'm just making sure. I don't know. Normally it is a large. All right, so I don't know why they're not. Oh, I don't have a grid on this. What? What did you say? There's no grid. Let me make sure me turn on the grid. Ah, okay. So it doesn't match what was there before. All right, so we're going to change the color of the grid to yellow, and then we're going to turn it down a little bit. There we go. All right, so now it all makes sense. All right, so we have our two bad guys. They're being ridden by these goblins up here. We'll just put them like this so we know which one is on which. Now we just need to add our dudes and we're done. So our dudes will be coming in from 1, 2, or 3, 4, 5, 6. 5. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's from the bottom. And so there's actually should be 40 then. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yep, I was right. So there was actually 40 by 4. This is an actual 40 by 40. So we're going to roll 1d40. /DIE space 1D40. Starting from left to right, 28. So this is the middle. So it's about 2/3 of the way over. So we're going to stick them right here at the edge of this map of the story. So we can grab all friendly people. Boom. That puts our 2 dudes. And then we're going to add our sidekick. Boom. And we're going to add our mastiff. Boom. All right, we zoom in. So when they're cruising along, traveling, Torador would be up here. And then the 2 holy men will be walking together. The mastiff is within 12 squares of 12 is 60 feet, yes, of our dude. So we're going to see where he is. We roll a 8-sider and a 12-sider. So the 8-sider is an 8. So that's this direction, and 12-sider is 4. So he is 1, 2, 3, 4. That is where he is. And that is when, so this is nothing but open air, an open area. So that's when we first noticed these 2 wargs being ridden by the goblins. All right, so the other thing the author has done here is he's made it really nice in that normally in D&D, unless your group is just what we call murder hobos, you don't have to just go and kill everything on sight. This guy has made it pretty easy that everything you see are bad guys. So, you know, demons and cultists and these goblins, they're evil creatures. All right, so last thing we have to do is to have to see what it says. So it says shifting sands. When a creature moves, they make a DC 10 strength or dex check, athletics or acrobatics, and on a fail below 10, you cannot move. So it's actually less than, you've got a pretty good chance of being able to move. All right, so we need to roll our initiatives. So we click on the menu and say initiative, roll PC initiatives, and last thing we need is, there we go. So we have our Mastiff is going first. All right, so he's just gonna chill. He's just gonna wait. He's gonna sort of growl, move up 10 feet and just growl, waiting to see what's gonna happen here. Next is Fion. So Fion doesn't have a whole lot of distance weapon. She has a javelin. So javelins go max 60 feet. So he's gonna move up twice. So we'll zoom in a little bit so we can see what's going on. So we can go 30 feet normally, and then he's going to do it twice. So he's going to go up 60 feet. Just start closing that gap. All right, so I forgot to roll 10-sider. So Mastiff first. His dex is better, so he's going to do a check. Rolled a 19, so definitely able to move. Now, Fion is going to roll athletics. Dirty 20, definitely able to move. Nice. All right, so trudges up through over this trodden down path, maybe an old dried out waterway, and through the shifting sands, got her javelin out, shield up, and so this warg sees us, and he's going to do higher strength, so he's going to do a check to see if he can move. 12, he can't. All right, so even though he rolled a 9 on dice, he has a bonus, so he's able to move. All right, so their movement is 50 feet, so he's going to move up. A little bit over 50 feet. And now the Gobby Gobby on him is the flexible gown. So we're just going to move it along way behind. And the goblins usually have short bows. Yep, short bow. So they can definitely shoot. So he's actually not going to have it move anymore. And he's going to shoot at Fione. So we'll stick the goblin here. So he is 85 feet away. The range is 80, so it's just outside, so he has disadvantage. As he shoots, whoosh, trying to make up for the wind. And he actually comes really close as this Fiona watches this arrow flying through the air, brings up the shield, ting, sticks into the shield. Pretty impressive for a little goblin. All right, so that is the warg's turn. All right, so now we're going to the second warg. He's going to see if he can move. He cannot. All right, so because of the shifting sands and he's not able to move. But this one's going to do the same thing, and I'm going to say there's a 80% chance he's going to shoot Fione. Oh, I'm going to say 70% chance Fione, 20% chance Mastiff, and then so 70, 20, 5, and 5. Right click, percentile, roll. 63, so he's also shooting at Fione. All right, and so this puppy is 135 feet away, but that's still within the range of the short bow. Makes life a lot easier when they jump off their mounts. But for now, we'll just keep switching back and forth. I'm actually going to make this map a bit bigger. All right, so this thing also, the little gobby. The bow is creaking as he's pulling it far back as he can. Points it right at him, and then, all right, wind, we got to move over here, and we got to go up, whoosh, and releases. Also at disadvantage. $16 on the die, even with disadvantage, means it's a 20, dirty 20. So she comes up, hits the first arrow, she feels the first arrow sink into the shield, sort of lowers it, pulls up her javelin, gets ready to go again, and this second arrow that she didn't see slams into her shoulder. Nice, just 7 damage. Grunts, reaches up, javelin, grabs a javelin with her shield hand and rips the arrow out, and then moves up. So yes, welcome back, Atomic. So this is what they're fighting. Came upon these 2 goblins on what's called these wargs, these large wolf creatures. We're in the middle of a desert, fighting right now. So now it's our little sling man, little ranger. He comes running up. So let's see if he can move. So that because they're in the desert, they have to roll first, and they have to get higher than a 10 with their either dexterity or athletics. So you see he's far away from the bad guys right now. So he is going to be better with his acrobatics. He needs to get a 10. He rolls a 12. So 16. All right, so he's able to quickly and nimbly move himself across the sand. He doesn't really need to get any closer, but he likes to be within 60 feet if he can. His movement speed is only 25, so he's going to move up. So they found and were joined by a mastiff last time. Still, as of yet, still nameless. We don't have a name for the mastiff. But he's going to actually try to shoot. I'm going to shoot at the big critter that this thing is riding. So because he is 105 feet away, he is at disadvantage, which means he rolls 2 dice and picks the best. He's taking a sling, staff sling, gauges the wind, shoot, and with a 4 on the dice, the wind just picks up right as he's about ready to throw it, and it goes flying off. Doesn't even come close. Sinks into the sand. They found another sidekick, Atomic, so they now have a new dude. Dun, dun, dun. His name is Thorsten, running around in the middle of the desert in plate mail. So he's very hot. It's also hot to the touch. Just needs to run up and hug somebody and can burn them with his plate mail. But he has a heavy crossbow. So their range is 100 feet. So, and his speed is 30 feet. So even though he's a big guy, he comes running up in his plate mail. And he's going to run up his 30 feet. Bring up this giant crossbow. The blades come all the way out past his shoulders. So he brings this heavy thing up, fighting the wind. Looks down the sight at this creature, and let's see how close he is. 110, so he's just outside the short range. As pulls the trigger, and his bolt just blasts out at the warg. And an 11, so it just goes. Wind picks up again and just sort of not the most practical desert wear, but it is effective. You are correct. It is hot and sweaty, but keeps you from getting bit by these critters. All right, so top of the next round, as one goblin was able to make a successful shot. Everybody else is missing. All right, so the dog is here. He's just going to growl again, see if he can slide up a little bit. Check. 7, he can't. So as he goes to move a little bit, sinks in the sand a bit, but he is going to take the dodge action. So that means that if someone, he is actively dodging, so if somebody tries to shoot him, he's looking for it, and he'll be able to hopefully jump out of the way. Mechanically, that means he gets a +2 to his dexterity. Let's see, dodge. No, I mean, that means that they have disadvantage to hit him. We go here, we type dodge, dodgy, and we throw it on our doggus. All right. We will put these effects down here so we can grab them again if we need to. I like stacking windows, so I can just click at them and put the one I want up front. All right, so Mastiff went. Now it's Fion's turn. Here, let's go ahead and get rid of him. It's not his turn. All right, so Fion couldn't do anything last turn. Just ran up. She does not have any kind of weapon besides the javelin. She likes to be in their face anyway. She also has a special attack where she can charge and blast somebody. So she's actually going to cast a spell. 10, 20, 30. So she's going to cast Bless. So the range of Bless is 30 feet. Yep. So she's going to move over just enough. First of all, let's see if she can move. Because of the shifting sands, every time we try to move, you have to roll to see if you can overcome the shifting sands of this desert area. She got 8, so she can't move. All right, so she's actually not going to cast a spell. She's going to yell out, Torador! Come here! Get a little closer! And she's going to hold her action to cast Bless as soon as he gets within range. So we're going to do a ready action. Now it's the critter's turns. So the first one to act, there he is. He's going to roll to see if he can move. 19, all right, so he's going to move up. He wants to be within range so his rider can, can hit without being at a minus. So it's the rider who's controlling it. It's going to move up 30 feet. And I think that's all he's going to do is just move up 30 feet. So this guy gets to go. Flexible grin. Let's see what the range is. So I'm going to say there's a 90% chance you're going to shoot at Fion since that's who we shot at before. So we'll go 85, 5, 5, and 5. You never know. Goblins can be weird, little unpredictable freaks. 90. All right, so 85, 5. That's 86 to 90, 91 to 95, and 96 to 100. So he shoots the Mastiff. He's hungry. He just wants a little bit of dog meat. So let's see. He is 75 feet away, and his short bow has a range of 80. So he is within range. So he's shooting the bow at the dog. Maybe we won't need to come up with a name because he might die here. With a 12, he did hit the dog. Uh-oh, here we go. Drum roll. Let's see. Oh, yes. 7 points of damage is enough to take down our Mastiff friend. All right, so next is the Warg. So he's going to do a check to see if he can move. He can. All right, so again, he just wants to get within range. He's going to run up. So their speed is actually 50. So he's going to come running forward 50 feet. And double move up to 100 feet closer, okay? So he runs up. Not sure why he's targeting him, but whatever. So his rider, boink, is now very close. So he hit the hippopotamus guy. So again, we're going to do the same thing. 85% chance, 85, 5, 5, and 5. He saw his friend shoot the dog, so maybe he's more inclined. Nope, he's going to go for the hippopotamus person again. So this time, let's see, no minus. 17, again, Vion is able to block the arrow with the shield. This time it comes flying, ricochets off the shield. And it is now Torador's turn. So Torador's here. He watches his dog companion die. So even though the other one is closer, he's going to move up. He hurt his friend as well. So he needs to get within 60 feet. So he's going to move up 3 squares. He's now within range. So as he moves into range, Vion's spell goes off. So what happens is my layering failed. All right, boom. Vion. Let's go back to Vion. So she grasps her shield, which has a symbol of Helm on it, and Helm, help us rid these foul creatures from this world before they can hurt anyone else. And light glows around her and Torador and Thorsten. And then we just make sure it is in fact 3 people. You bless up to 3 creatures within range. Yep. Torador herself. Thorsten. All right, so now whenever they attack, or if they have to make a saving throw for some reason, you add a 1d4 is added to their roll. So he ran up. He's now very upset because his friend just got killed. Just got spent the last couple days traveling with this dog. They grew very attached, and now he's dead. So he's going to attack his dog. Oof! But instead, a little tear gets in his eyes. It's only from the sand. It's not from losing his friend. And his even with the blessing, it misses. All right, so he has to reload his crossbow. So he's going to move up. "30 feet. So I'm not real familiar with heavy crossbows. I don't know that I've ever had someone who had a heavy crossbow. Light crossbows and hand crossbows are typically the way people like to go. So let's see exactly what this means, because as he has a heavy crossbow, It has what's called the loading property. Because of the time required to load this weapon, you can fire only one piece of ammunition from it when you use an action, regardless of the number of attacks you can normally make. Okay, so cool. He can shoot again. Um, so what that means is that at level 5. Ah, you're back. Welcome. Hello, Exoro82. We're doing a little solo action. Got too many windows open right now. Let me show you. Boom. We're playing solo skirmish. It's made to be played on your own. Right now, we have Thorsten. So we picked up a friend along the way. Part of the storyline is we grab this guy. Where'd he go? Paladin. He's got this big, heavy crossbow. So he runs up through the shifting sand. I did not roll to see if he could, though. Let's see if he can move. All right, so we got a 13 total. He needs a 10 or better. So he runs up through. We're in the desert. We're fighting these bad guys up here. There's goblins on these big warg, which are like these wolf creatures. He runs up, throws while he's moving up, pulls a bolt from his quiver, sticks it, pulls back the mechanism for the crossbow, levels it, and the bolt comes flying out. Let's see if he hits. All right, and so because of the blessing that Fion, the paladin, gave him, it is a hit. So first time this thing has been hit, nice. It does 9 damage as this thing, as the bolt comes out and slams into the shoulder of this beast. It growls in pain. Let's zoom in a little bit now that they're closer. We can see a little bit more what's happening here. Top of the round is Fion. So Fion is a hippopotamus person. That's Fion. She is a paladin. Last time she wasn't able to move because of sinking sand, the shifting sand is all around her. So let's see if she's able to move this time. Do I attributes? Okay. She's going to roll athletics to just force her way through, and she does. No worries. She gets a total of 13. She likes to run, so 10, 20, 30. Let's see, she's 10, 20, 30 feet away. Wouldn't quite get there. So she's actually only going to move a little bit up, 10 feet, and then throw her javelin. It's a big long stick, sort of like in the Olympics. Throws it. She's also going to try to hit the beast. So she sees this crossbow bolt sink into it. She runs up, throws, and hits as the javelin sinks, scrapes along the top of the beast. Nice. Big gash along its shoulder, right by the saddle where the goblin is sitting, and the goblin, as it's getting ready to shoot with its bow. All right, so this goblin's going to try to stay away because they're shooting with bows, and they don't want to get up close and personal with these people. So he's going to shoot with his bow. Let's see how smart this goblin is. I'm going to say, so if he's smart, he would stay away, so he would move away. If he's not smart, he won't. So let's give him an intelligence check. I'm going to say it's a DC 12 to move away. 17. All right, so he's a smart little gobby. So he's going to tell his mount to move back. Okay. So that means he's 95 feet away from him. So again, I'm going to say he killed the dog last time. Our mastiff friend got killed. All right, so he killed our dog last time, and so we don't. He. I'm gonna say there is two people have been shooting at his. Actually, all three of them have been shooting at his mount. So let's say he's going to. I'm going to say, see, he hit him. All three of them are hitting him. So I'm going to say it's about a 30% chance, but he's closer. So I'm going to say 40, 30, 30. Going up the percentile chain. So 13 means he's going to shoot at Fione. Which also makes sense because she's within range, 60 feet. So short bow. Again, actually, one hand trying to pull it back. Ooh, and he crits. All right, maybe making two of them was a mistake. We'll see. We'll see. Rolling the damage. Nice. It's only 4 damage. So, so she's casting her bless spell. So whenever she takes damage, she has to check to see if she loses concentration on the spell, and she did not. So, yay! But she gets hit as she tries to bring up the. She throws her javelin, extends herself, and this arrow hits her. She tries to bring up her shield too soon, too late. All right, now let's see what this next goblin, see how smart he is. Again, I'm going to say 12. He's not being attacked, so, but still, we'll see. And he does. He gets 13, so he's going to be moving back too. He wants to stay within 60 feet, so 35. He's going to go back 20 feet. Come on. Okay, just controlling his mount, bringing him back here. Let's see if the warg can move at all, though. Ooh, it can't because of the sand. All right, so he is stuck in the sand and does not move. So the goblin will shoot again. 70. I'm going to say 80, 10, 10. And a 1. He is definitely hitting her. And the arrow comes out, moving back. But this time she's able to, as the other arrow sinks into her, she's able to throw up her shield and block that one. Alright, so Torador, still angry at this guy, but he's much farther away, 80 away. Let's see, does he want to... He sees this thing is almost dead. He's going to go for it anyway. He's going to go for it at disadvantage. And he's going to try to shoot the mount. And it hits. All right, because of the blessing, he got a 6 plus the blessing altogether to 14. So that is a hit. And boom, and this thing goes down. Oh no. Okay, 7 hit points left. All right, not yet. So so this time, his sling is on a stick. It's called a staff sling. So he's wheeling it around. Let's go, the release. And his bolt comes flying across. The bullet rock comes slamming into the creature, sinks into its neck. It yelps in pain. Thorson, he's been using his crossbow. Let's see, it's 10, 20, 25. All right, so he can run up if he has let's give him a shot. Athletics, see if he can make it. 16, no problem. So he drops his crossbow on the ground, pulls out his shield. His longsword, great sword, two-handed great sword. He runs up. Trudging through the sand. He's not going to attack this one. He's going to attack this one. Again, he sees this large creature as more of a threat than the goblin riding him. Runs up, great sword in hand. Slashes at this thing. Oof. But it's able to... It goes to bite at him, and he instinctively jerks. Woodpunk, how you doing? How you doing? We're doing a little solo action here. Playing a little D&D solo. We're playing Cult of the Mulgoraz. My people are out in the middle of the desert, fighting these guys up here. Little goblins on these big dogs. They already killed them. I had a mastiff, and he got killed. So here's Fion, my hippopotamus warrior, paladin. So she's going to try to run up again. She has a charge. Let's see, 10, 20, 30. She's too far away again. So she's going to try to move up through the sand. The sand is shifting, and it's very hard to walk. So they have to see if they can force their way through the sand. She needs to get 10 or better. So 13 altogether. She's able to move up. She moves up here. She's got a javelin in her hand, just like the Olympics. Throws it at this beast. It's bleeding. It's been shot with a crossbow. Her javelin hit her before, and a sling just hit it. So now she's trying to finish this thing off with her javelin. "16 is enough to hit. And max damage. The javelin sinks deep into this thing's shoulder, and it sort of bites at the javelin, and then its eyes glaze over and it collapses in the sand. Its blood slowly spilling from its wounds, and it is down. And not only that, well done, Fione, that's the deadliest thing you put down in your adventuring career. So this thing is gone, and what's left is this little gobby. So we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, which square he's in. So he is right there with a dead mount below him. So this one is actually going first. Actually, no. There we go. All right, so he's got his bow. He's going to jump off, whoosh, and jump behind it. To sort of use the body as cover. Stand up, shoot, duck down behind it. As he sees this big hippopotamus woman come running toward him. He's going to shoot at her with his bow. Pulls back, looks at the wind. Whoosh, let's go. And it goes whipping past her. Alright, so now this thing is right up next to it, so it's gonna, so the goblin and it both act at the same time. It's gonna try to bite our sidekick with the big great sword. Whoosh, charges, spit coming from it and drying almost immediately as the sand cakes its mouth, where the drool is come down. 4, not even close. Just snaps as he shifts to the side, takes the pommel of his sword, and bashes its head. It shakes back. The goblin on top of him tries to reach forward with his scimitar. He pushes the bow he's been using down and draws out this sword and tries to slash at him. 2, not even close. As the mount's underneath him moving around, he's trying. Doesn't even come close to hitting this big armored knight standing next to him. All right, so Torador. It's 85 feet away, so he's going to see if he can move up. He knows that Fione would rather take the closer target, so he's going to try to shift up and go for the one that's hiding behind his dead mount. Let's do a little bit of athletics. Oof, and a 1. So he goes to move, and the sand is just shifting and twisting too much. So he has a staff with a sling on the end of it, and swoosh, goes to throw it. This is what what he looks like. There he is. Except he doesn't. His sling is actually on the end of a stick. Gives him more momentum and more power as he strikes. And he is going to be at disadvantage though because he's too far away. So let's see if he hits. Awesome. So a 19 still is enough. And it slams into this goblin. As the goblin ducking, he goes up to shoot Fione, and boom, he gets hit with a sling bullet right in the neck as it starts to well up and sits just for a moment before it falls out of his neck and blood starts to go down a little bit. Torador is really upset with this guy because he's the one that killed his mastiff. So, but now Thorsten's got this giant great sword, huge, almost 6-foot long blade as he goes to swing at this beast that's attacking him. And does. The blade slices across him, and he... middling damage. 8 points of damage. Slices across this thing as fur goes falling down into the sand, followed quickly by drops of blood. All right, now Fiona finally gets a chance to charge. So let's see if she can move. She can. So, just sort of like a slow train, building up speed, running as she charges toward these creatures. For the sake of argument, we're just going to move him here. She's going to slam into this thing. So let's see exactly what her hippo charge does. If you move at least 20 feet in a straight line to end within 5 feet of a creature that is large or smaller, and this creature is large, that creature must make a strength check. All right. So let's do the roll. She slams into this with her shield, and it fails. All right. And it takes 2d6 damage and is prone. So she slams into this thing, smashing it, lifting up with her shield, and it sort of comes up off it, lifts off the ground just for a couple inches, and then slams down onto its side. The goblin on top of it falls off, as it also takes damage from the shield slamming into its side. All right, so we're going to have to see. I'm going to say this is same check to see if it DC 12 check to see if this goblin can stay on 3. So he falls off his mount. Boink. He's no longer riding this warg. All right, so now it is his turn. He was prone, so he uses half his movement to stand up. Now let's see if he can move. 8, he can't move. There's a sand. As he goes to stand, he's slipping and sliding in the sand. And his bow is actually on the beast. So he's pretty much out of luck. So he's going to use his standard action to try to stand up again. So a slip, and he's going to try it one more time, see if he can move. No, 2. So 2 on the dice. 2 on the dice means a 4 total. He needed a 10, so he is just stuck on the ground. Got a sword in his hand. This dog is kicking sand in his face. He's choking, trying to see. He's not having a good day. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, our other goblin's hiding behind his dead mount. He's going to try. So again, I'm going to say there's a 90% chance he's going to shoot the hippo man, although he did shoot at him. So I'm going to say there's 80% chance he's going to shoot the hippo and 20% at Torador. This guy is fighting the dog. He wouldn't even touch him. So 80 and 20. I love the sound effects. Well, thank you, Zoro. I appreciate it. All right, so doing our percentile to see who he's going to fight. 75, so he goes for Fiona again, shooting the bow. He sort of sneaks up over the wolf, whoosh, waits for the right moment. As he watches his friend get knocked off, but he sort of laughs as his friend is flailing and flying in the dirt, trying to climb up. And he misses. Whoosh, too busy laughing at his friend as the arrow goes flying by. All right, so the warg is prone, so he's going to see if he can stand up. Flailing like a fish out of water, absolutely. But he's a goblin on the sand. Yep. So here it is. Uses strength. See if he can stand up. Oh, 19. He's absolutely standing up. So he's been sliced by this knight and slammed on the ground by this hippo guy. So I'm going to say the hippo's going to be more of a threat, even though he has been sliced by this huge sword this guy is wielding. Um, so let's go ahead and see. I'm going to say 60-40. 60 for Fion. 44. So he bites at Fion. So ignoring his mount. Oops, I forgot to do a take off prone. But he does bite her. And so Seath, his teeth sink into as she tries to raise her shield. It latches onto her arm and rips at her arm beyond, just above the shield. And he's now trying to see if he can pull her down. So she knocked him down. She's using her she had cast a spell. She's sort of concentrating that on the back of her mind. And every time she takes damage, she has to check to see if she drops it. She doesn't. Hippos are vicious predators. Absolutely. Um, and she is not liking this thing. So it's going to try to pull down this hippopotamus girl. So let's see. She has to make a strength save. Her strength is pretty good. Oh, absolutely. She crushes it. She had to get 13. She got a 20. So he is not pulling her down. As she sort of grits against the pain, pulls out her flail, and gets ready to bash this thing. All right, meanwhile, Torador is going to try to move up again, get within range of his sling. Before, the sand was just too much for him. This time he is able to move up. He's 85 feet away, so he's going to run up. He can only move 25 because he's a little guy. But that means he's now within range, so he does not have a minus to hit. So as the little goblin pokes up and shoots at laughing at his friend and shooting at the hippopotamus, our Torador runs up with his sling and goes to shoot him in the face hole. Let's see what happens. Oof, and it misses, sinks into his dead, the warg, as he sees a bullet come, ducks back down behind his dead mount. All right, and meanwhile, back, I don't know if I've shown Woodpunk. I don't know if you've seen our friend. There we go. Thorsten, a knight running around in the heat of the desert in full plate armor. But he's using a great sword. He swings at this creature that's bit his friend. Oof, and he crits. Yes, that means he does double damage. So watch all the dice roll here. Whoosh. So he does 17 points of damage. So as this thing bites, it gets knocked down into the sand, struggles up and lashes out and bites Fion. He swings up with his great sword, jamming it up into just below where its front paws meet its shoulders, and the blade goes sinking in as he rips it out. blood goes flying, and this thing just shudders for a moment, and its legs buckle as it collapses into the dirt as the blood pours out, quickly absorbed by the sand underneath it. And now the goblin is left by himself, standing there with his little, still on the ground, trying to get up as Fione steps around and over his mount, walking up with her flail, 3 chains with these large balls stuck on a stick, and just starts getting the momentum going with these metal balls and slams down at him. And slams into him. Eight points of damage. So this, as it's trying to get up, she brings this down on him, and the balls just slam into his arm. And he cries, and his arm is hanging limp by his side as it feebly tries to get up still. Yay, so he's finally able to stand up as he's sort of swaying a bit from the pain in his arm, and he feebly tries to hit with his scimitar. Oof, and that is gonna strike true. So it hits and does a little bit of damage to Fione. So as she slams, he stands up and sort of almost by instinct lashes out and slices into her side, and then he's going to try to run off. It's a bonus action. He can disengage. So again, he needs to check to see if he can get through the sand. 9, but as he goes to try to leave, he's slipping and sliding in the shifting sand and is unable to leave. And this guy sees his friends starting to get hurt. But so again, I'm going to say 80, 10, 10. Although that's right, he is being shot by the sling man. So he didn't hit last time. So I'm going to say 50, 10, 40. 20, so he's going for Fione. So while her back is turned and she's not paying attention, he's going to try to shoot her, but doesn't even come close. Just sinks into the sand. All right, so Torador, he sees his target there. You killed my dog. You're going down. If it's the last thing I have to do. And he hits. And it's minimum damage, but it is enough. So he comes up, he shoots. He's growling because he's upset because he missed Faon and turned just in time to see the bullet come and slam into his temple. And he goes flying back onto his back, blood pouring out as he dies from the sling stone. You kick on my dog, yes. And then Torador is going to try to move up a little bit. Let's see if he can afford make his way through the sand. Come on. There it is. And he is. All right, so he moves up. Just wants to get a better shot Actually, no, he's going to shift it this way because he sees this guy trying to leave. So just in case. All right, so our friend, the knight, he's going to walk up and around the big giant dead beast. Try to hem him in, keep him from moving as he swings his sword. And this goblin's like, "Ah!" Starting to sweat. And oh, he took her out. I didn't realize he did enough damage. Oh, wow. All right. So he sure did. She went unconscious. Boy, I wasn't paying attention. Must have been looking at that chat or something. But so as he stood up and gets slammed by her, the hippo man, he slashed out and did just enough to. Fiona stands there for a moment and crashes down. The sand goes flying up as this thing collapses. So when you're at 0 hit points, you have to make death saves. So she made her first death save and succeeded. All right, so he's pretty emboldened now that he killed her, and as this big guy with a sword comes flying up, he tries to stab him. Chink clangs into its armor. He's sees the other one little guy moving up with the sling, so he's still going to try to run. Let's see if he can get away from the. Nope, 8. So the sand is he's barely able to stand because of the sand, and he can't move. So Torador sees Fione fall. So he's gonna actually he's gonna move up and let's try and see if we can do it first. The shifting sand, oh yeah, with 22, he only needed a 10. He's definitely able to move up. So he runs up. As he's running, he reaches into his pouch and grabs a healing potion, rips the cork out with his teeth, and just sort of pours it on where all the wounds are coming out of Fione, blood and everything. I really don't have the healing potion set up yet. That's silly. So let's go. Boom. Potion of healing. All right, so he drops it on Fione. She gasps. Her eyes flutter open and she's healed for 8 points. Pretty decent roll. So anywhere between 4 and 10. So we got an 8. Not bad at all. So that is his. He's like, come on. Don't let him. We've got to kill this thing. All right, so Thorsten up with his giant sword as he sees his friend is not dead. Just enough. Slams into this little goblin with his giant sword. All right, and so it had 2 hit points left, and he did 10 points of damage. So as this thing tries to slice him, he sort of watches the sword hit his armor, and he takes his giant great sword, slams into his shoulder right at the neck, and it just goes down almost all the way down, stuck in the rib cage, and he puts his foot up, pushes him off the edge of the sword as the goblin collapses into the sand. And we are out of combat. All right, so our warriors will take a short rest Um, he Thorster will walk up and grasp Fion, help her up, and as he does, he's going to do his healing touch, and his healing touch heals for 1d6 plus 2 hit points. So we rolled a 6, so she gets back 8 hit points, which means she's down to 10 wounds. And then, so being a paladin herself, she has the same thing, lay on hands. So she will touch herself, sort of turn her back, stretch, sort of move her hands along this wound, scimitar, and this bow. Take the arrow where the arrow struck her, sort of rub, and the wounds start healing. She wipes the blood off, and it is exactly 10 points of healing that she can do with her lay on hands. So that brings her back to healthy. So she has used her lay on hands for the day. All right, until now they will search the bodies, search the warg and the goblins, and see what we find. All right, so I doubled it. Instead of just being one warg and one goblin, I made it 2. One person went down, but they still were victorious, and that's where it should be. Nice little fight, nice action. Had there only been one, I don't think it wouldn't have been a challenge at all. So that was great. That worked out perfectly. All right. So because we get a quest point because we succeeded. So we now have 3 quest points. We get 43 gold. Yeah. I'm going to roll another d20 because of the second goblin and add that to it. So we got 2 more gold. Woohoo! 45 gold pieces from him. All right, so we've finished that aspect of it. The next thing is the hero phase. So the hero phase, you have lots of different things you can do. If we're in a settlement, we are not. We get a long rest once per quest. So we've used up 1 spell and 1 in her lay on hands. So at this point, I don't think we need to rest. I am going to take them out of combat, though. We did take a short rest, yep. So that drops, there you go. So let's get, I forgot to mark off that she used her spell. Click. Gather information. So we're going to do what we did last time. We're going to try to gather information and we're going to try to search. Why? Because Misa like finding stuff. So our sidekicks cannot help. So the first thing we're doing is we're searching. I mean, we'll search. So that is Torador's job. He has the best chance of finding things. So it is a 13 plus current threat. Our current threat is 2. So our check, the difficulty of the check is 15. He gets to use his perception, which is plus 5. So he needs 50-50 chance. We'll see what happens. 13 is 18. So he succeeds. It says deduct 2 from the roll when in a wilderness location on the chart. So we roll this and we subtract 2. So let's roll. It is a 12, so nothing found. So even though the chart says 14, which would have been a useful item, because we're in the desert, he does find an empty, finds a sack on one of these wargs. He's like, aha! And he opens it up and it's just garbage that and old rotting food that the goblins left behind. So nothing actually useful there. But we do get to let's see if we can gather information. All right, so she's going to be as the goblins are dying, just before they die, Fion will grab it and use intimidation to scare the crap out of it. Where is Tarok? Tell me now. And he's dead. So didn't work. She needed a 15. She got a 9. So now we are done with the hero phase. Last is the threat phase. So we advance the threat marker by 1. So it goes from 2 up to 3. And we read the event. So if the party is not on the barren plains, we are. If we're on the barren plains, all party members make a DC 15 survival check. So all characters. So in this case, ignore this if the party has the tracker from the village accompanying them. And if we all fail, we are lost in the middle of this desert. So here we go. We're going to see if we can't get this to work. So starting off with our sidekick. He fails. Next is Fion. Come on. Big money, big money, big money. 10. Last is Torador. Okay, you've got a +5. Come on, we need you in clutch. And he rolls a 1. So he is too busy crying over his lost dog. So we failed at life, people. We do not move on. We are stuck here at threat level 2. I mean at location 2 in the barren desert. So this is Sven take 1. Next time we will have to do Sven take 2 because we are still in the barren plains. I should have, at the beginning of the stream, I said we don't need the guide. We'll be okay. I made a mistake. I should have spent the money on the guide. All right, so we'll see. This could be the end. We'll see. Next time on Svenzone Solo, take 5, we will find out what happens to our trio wandering out in the middle of the desert. Thank you guys for hanging out. We had a good bunch of people show up today. If you're lurking, I really appreciate the lurks. Thank you so much. Trying to build up my audience on the stream. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. I do really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, make sure you follow this. If you liked what you saw, Woodpunk, this is number 4. So there's 3 others on YouTube. Svenster77 is my site, or you can go to just look for Svenzone Solo, and there's 4 of them. You can look for the playlist there. I try to make it humorous, try to make it fun. There's a lot more people involved, so a lot more voices and things going on in the earlier episodes. So like, subscribe, follow Woodpunk's Loop Lounge, all together one word. Atomic Hero Squad, X082 is Woodpunk's Loop Lounge wife, for those of you who didn't know. Joker's Chosen, he's a cool dude. I just started watching him today. Dan Dazzle showed up as well. So again, follow each other. Thank you again for hanging out. And whatever else you do, enjoy the rest of your day.